So my name is Ilya Brovin. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at Sumsub. Historically, businesses focus very much on the KYC stage of the user journey, which is the time when they see their user first. They need to identify them. But also, at that point in time, they're focused very much on conversion and improving their funnel economics. So they're very much focused on how many users will get onboarded. And if they look at it from a compliance point of view, it's somewhat of a check the box exercise. But what happens then is that if wrong users get through the onboarding process, when they start transacting, then trust can be deteriorated and exploited. So our own statistics show that about 80% of fraud actually happens after onboarding, which means that accounts can be taken over, or it can be mule accounts, and then people who've managed to get through the KYC process will then either commit fraudulent activity, or they will break law, they will do money laundering. And so the point is that now you need to look at their activity and monitor it carefully throughout the whole lifetime of the user, taking into account all of the information you have about them from the onboarding stage. Generative AI is a big factor, obviously, in this industry. Identifying users by document is a de facto standard today, even though many other methods exist, like the non-docs and sync passes and so on. But of course, AI affects it. So there are several impacts. So first of all, we call it democratization of fraud. So people that don't have specific knowledge or very sophisticated tools could actually commit AI-driven fraud. So they can generate fake documents, they can generate deepfakes much cheaper and much quicker. The second one is actually what we've seen as the next step of that is AI is being used by the sophisticated fraudsters even to a greater degree. So of course you can organize much bigger fraud rings around the world. You can use industrial scale, deepfake generation, document generation, automated attacks at KYC systems. So AI has certainly upped the game level for the fraudsters. In terms of what can be done, well, obviously you need to use best-in-class tools. That's for sure. At Sumsub we say use AI to fight AI. So we use AI to detect fake documents that were generated with AI, to detect deepfake videos. But actually there is no silver bullet. There's no one single tool that will completely protect you for all kinds of fraud, including AI fraud. The name of the game is looking at the whole user experience and journey, not only at the onboarding stage, but also when they transact, when they log in, when they change their password, when they do certain transactions. And the idea is kind of making sense of all of those things. And the only way to make sense of those things, if they're all connected, all of these data points are part of the same user identity profile, which is, by the way, dynamic and not static. With the help of AI tools, you can actually start seeing patterns. You can start seeing similarities. You can detect money mules. You can detect device reuse, for example, and ultimately you can detect fraud and catch violations. The trends are global. So the rise of AI is global. We see similar type of trends everywhere around the world, but the degree is slightly different. APAC, for better or for worse, is actually a source of a lot of fraud that happens globally. And we see much more prevalence, for example, for people to be contacted to be part of money mule networks over here in APAC than in other parts of the world, like in Europe, for example. One major difference. But in other extents, I'd say, is just a very advanced market where things are happening very quickly. And so fraudsters have a big market to operate in as well. You cannot stop just at the KYC. You have to continuously monitor users' activity, transactions, logins. But you know what? Businesses have been doing this for forever, so that's not something new. But the point is that the tools and the approach, how they've done it, was different. Typically, banks and financial institutions use separate systems. One system for KYC, one system for transaction monitoring, another system for fraud prevention. And those are very often also managed by different teams. So they need to invest a lot of resources internally to connect those. And inevitably, data gets lost, insights get lost. So the new approach that we are offering is to do it all together in one platform. Then you can have a truly 360-degree view of the customer that is constantly updated with all of their activity and actions and transactions. Two aspects to this question. One is around safety, and another one, which I think is very important, around compliance and regulation. The emergence of blockchain technologies and Web3 and DeFi, there is a clear need for a more convenient, more reusable, digitally native type of identity, whether it's on-chain or otherwise. But, that introduces certain risks and certain uncertainties from a compliance point of view. From the risk point of view, yes, these smart contracts of the identities are based on smart contracts. Maybe, they're not airtight. Maybe there are some leaks, maybe there are some bugs. And so obviously whatever software and code and smart contracts are used have to be audited very, very carefully before they're being relied on by all the actors. The compliance piece, I think, is quite interesting as well, because typically, and that's absolutely normal, regulators are not at the forefront. They're usually kind of a step behind. They're stepping in to regulate something that others have innovated. What we do see is that there are technologies already available for digitally native on-chain identity, but the regulators are not yet ready to recognize them as such. The approach is that each firm has to do absolutely their own due diligence. They cannot rely on third parties mostly. But obviously that misses some of the benefits that the blockchain technology offers. So we're working with a lot of partners and regulators as well to kind of try to move this forward, to make some of these more digitally native identities available and recognizable, and therefore usable by both businesses and by the people.